All right. So I said, Eddie, diet works well as long as real whole foods. This is not food. I'm sorry. You can call it anything you want, but it's not food. All right. At least not how it was designed. Try to get 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Few simple principles. And altogether, 5 to 10. I mean, I have a big bowl salad, which is already a pound. That's like at least 3-4 servings. And then you get your fruits, whatever you like. All right, that's from my garden, actually. And when I mean vegetables or greens, anything is green. I don't care. You know, the Brasilica family, probably the healthiest you can imagine, but anything you can cook them very easily. This is, you know, what we use in Southern cuisine. Just don't fry it and don't oil it. That's all I'm asking. You know, steam them and add some butter. It's fine, no problem. All right, and really, why? Because the fiber and the vitamins from that is there to feed our healthy bacteria. It's so, you know, we all talk about probiotics, and you know, we take cultural to help with that. But probiotics are just good bacteria. But if you don't give them food, you can take every cultural you want in the world. You're going to get diarrhea anyway, because you need to give them food. Their food is fiber. We don't have the enzyme to metabolize by fiber because it's supposed to be food for them, as I mentioned. So yes, you need to give them this, and then your own. You don't necessarily need to take a supplement unless you just had some antibiotics that you need to give it back. But most of the time, you just need to give it once, and that's it. So eat fruits and vegetables that are in season. This is how we used to do it. Do not juice or smoothie them. Why? You kill the fiber that's there, so like you don't want that. All right? There is soluble and insoluble fiber. You can still have soluble fiber there. Soluble fiber is food for them. Insoluble creates like a network, a fish net, that the soluble go in and cover the gut. So when you have the wrong food, it's just like sugar or fructose, will flush down the duodenum, goes all the way to the bowel. So it's protecting. So the soluble fiber is the prebiotics, but in order to be able to be feeding that, you need your insoluble fiber. And then the postbiotics is what your healthy bacteria produce for us. Actually, it creates anti-inflammatory substance. It stimulates our own Ozempic from our gut to go to the brain and tell you're full. Actually, this is our probiotics and our healthy bacteria will do, all right? By just giving them fiber. And remember, they are 10 times more than us. So if we don't give them food, they're going to feed on us, all right? And stimulate your own. So we learned the 3 keywords is, we have the probiotics with the actual healthy bacteria. We have prebiotics, is the food for the healthy bacteria, which is the fiber, and the vegetables and fruits. And then we have postbiotics, which are the substances produced by butyrate and serotonin, basically, or Ozempic that's produced by those probiotics, that they will go back and feed us or will be important for our brain health. All right? And that's why I always say, particularly if you have an inflamed gut, you need to have a pound of salad. Now, careful, because some of us will be intolerant to all this. Look, I tried, and it doesn't get along with me. And there are people who don't tolerate salads. I get it. And usually those who just, I mean, I had patients who said they never in their life have eaten 1 leaf of salad. And I get it. Those who are actually, by default, it's been a long time they ate salads, you'll have to start slowly and gradually go up on it. Don't go to a pound, like I said. You start with a leaf, with each meal, and then you add a little pepper, and then you add a little, and every week you go up on it, and you do that, and you gradually build your probiotics. Then you see after 3 months you actually can tolerate just fine. Okay? And I'm gonna, and you know, fruits and vegetables don't just come with just fiber. They come with everything that's colorful. Different colors means different antioxidants, different enzymes. When you process those and you heat them up, you kill those. Vitamin C, carotene yellow, vitamin E, lycopene is in the red, in the tomatoes, anthocyanide is in purple, like the blueberries, polyphenols in grapes. They feed the probiotics and provide us immune protection. And no, I'm not for supplements, because once you extract those, you kill them. I don't care what they say. There's never been one study showing that if you actually take those supplements, it's going to raise your plasma level of something, except for vitamin D that we know for vitamin D. In other words, when you have a clear deficiency, I give it and it works, okay, for certain things. So if you're vegan, you will need a B12. If you're also vegan or vegetarian, you'll need, you can't have fish, then you'll need omega-3 supplements, particularly for kids. And if your vitamin D is low, you need your vitamin D3 level to be at 70 for immune purpose, not at 35 like our blood test says. So they only say it's abnormal if it's less than 35, but that's not true. That's a minimum survival skill. You want to be 70 for the immune system. Immune cells are going to be at maximum working if they're at least at 70. And yes, you don't want to eat fish, tuna, more than once a week because it's risk of mercury, and definitely not pregnant women. However, you can eat the others, the wild salmon, sardines, mussels, again, marine fish, rainbow trout, as long as it's, in clean waters. I don't like fish oil supplements because they come with a lot of saturated fat, and a lot of it is oxidized. There are some of them, I guess, who are better than others, but you still, like, if you're vegan, then take the olive oil, the supplement. Or if you know you haven't eaten fish for 3 weeks, or for a week, take some. But if you can eat the fish, it's way, way better. That's all I'm saying, okay? And it's oxidized. It's not very good quality. That's what I'm trying to say. But I like sardines. I like salmon, all right? You can buy any sardines. You just get rid of the oil, and you put some lemon, squeeze some lemon. And these are from the vegan part of it. But again, we're not very efficient to metabolize this and convert them into full DHA and EPA. But avocado is a healthy one. Anything from, as I mentioned, cabbage kind of greens. Brussels sprouts have a lot of omega-3s. They're very healthy. Kale. And then grains and nuts have too. Just have to be careful because grains and nuts, they come also with omega-6s. All right? So, all right. Take-home points. I know it was a long lecture. First of all, what we call food is not what we call food based on our taste. It's what our mitochondria call food. And I hope I convinced you that. They decide what we do. What's bad from our food and what we call ultra-processed. There are 3 chemicals. Fructose, oxidized linoleic acid from vegetable oils, and fats, which is flavor enhancers. If you see that buzzword, stay away from it. E as an emulsifier, P as in preservative, S as in sweeteners. I should patent this abbreviation, by the way, okay? But it's easy, because often you don't know the chemical, but they will say these keywords, and that's it. So remember, 80% disease is your fructose from sugar and vegetable oil. 20% is the fats, and the rest is the oxygen from air pollution, but we can't control that. If you were to do, by the way, exercise and running, don't go where the streets are loaded with cars. Go into a park, in a place, or cul-de-sac. Try to stay away from that pollution. That's another source. All right, eat whole foods, exercise. That will help you to have your mitochondria live longer. Ozempic works, but really with concomitant lifestyle changes, I am very happy to put you on Ozempic, provide that you sign up a declaration in your mind that you're going to work on ultra-processed food and increase your exercise, okay? And we do need a revolution, like Georgia Ede said, not a political revolution, by the way. We need to revolutionize the way women feed themselves. We need the way parents feed their children. That will make a big difference. The way schools feed their students. The way hospitals feed their patients, because we're doing a terrible job with that. And the way the senior care centers feed their residents. Here's an example of a hospital food. All right? Okay. That's not food. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. And patients say, well, I thought it's healthy. Yeah, it is. They follow some guidelines. They're actually all legal, except that this is all processed food. You got your sugars and your vegetable oils. And how much sugar? This little thing of cranberry juice is 8 teaspoons, one of them. So we have 8 plus 8, 16 plus 8. The orange juice version, or it's 24. And then we have also the Smuckers here. By the way, that's the sweetener version. All right, and then you say, well, what about in our office? This is a picture I took from our wonderful nurses who gave us a present for the Doctor's Day. And, it was pointed out to me, which was actually correct, we also have fruits here. But I promise you, after 2 days, everything was gone, not just the fruits. All right, and I ate actually one of those bags of Smart Foods. This is what happens when you stress out and you see 30 pages a day. All right. Because there is no control if it's there. No self-control. There is no will. all right? And trust me, doctors are actually way worse with the nurses. This is Nurses' Day. We just buy them Krispy Kreme and fantasy cookies and chocolates. We are much worse, okay? All right, so this was from the Echo Lab, was not ours. I do other ways, but anyway. But this is a typical breakfast, that our patient with diabetic diet, was following, and I was very grateful. And then I look around, and suddenly it came with no insulin. It was just on metformin. Ended up in 5 days with a sugar over 400, and the day I was supposed to discharge, and 100 units of insulin. I didn't even know, because our colleagues, the internists, were working on the background. So basically, in 5 days, he converted from a pre-diabetic to full-blown diabetic on 100 units of insulin. This is not a joke. So you know what I did? I stopped. I said, stop eating what's here. Just go home, eat like you were eating. Ignore, and I stopped the insulin. And of course, he had my cell phone, and I guided him, but he didn't have any issues. But I mean, it's a serious issue, and I can't fix that. And I dreamed that one day this would be a breakfast in our hospitals, okay? Which is eggs, 0 carbs, avocados, and some nice, tomatoes and spinach, or the berry, bowl. That would be proper. Is it going to happen? I don't know. It's, again, a financial and economic decision. It's not a health decision. Sometimes I think sad, I'm considered to be a healthcare professional, and honestly, I'm a disease care professional. I'm not a healthcare professional, not with this food. Okay, so patient, what I tell them, eat Mediterranean diet. Is easy to fix, 10 minutes, not that hard. You can get your salmon from any, could be preserved or sardine, I don't care. This is easy to make. Stews, grilled chickens, and what is more important is that you need to realize, you start by, like I say, you're worrying about that you're not doing well. Well, the first thing, you need to clean up your house. Honestly, anything that's labeled that you see vegetables, more than half a teaspoon equivalent, I taught you how to read, or has got fats, or has got sugar, out of the house. If you don't start with that, and you still keep it, and the same with the beverages, then you're just, I hear this all the time, I'm trying. No, if you really want to do it, you got to start with that. And it's going to hurt for about 3-4 weeks, and then you'll never miss it again. I promise you. But you start with that, you got to keep your house, you have control in your house, and get rid of the toxic food environment. You start with the house. And eventually, we pray one day will be also with your friends when you visit them. One day, maybe we'll be at the restaurants. That's easy to fix. I tell them, just eat the burger and the salad, cut everything else. You can still eat, or eat before you go out and socialize. They're different. It requires commitment. It requires not to be comfortable. That means somebody has to cook, and you got to plan your meals, and you got to do batch cooking. Easy. You just cook once, in one big Instapot container. It will last you the whole week. So we have soup, we have grilled chicken, and I just go in there and add it. All right, so that's that. And then you start to go up on the exercise. Hey, here's the healthy beverages that do not cause, first of all, you clean your beverages. All right, coffee, black. The Sorescu way is painful. Unsweet tea, water. You can add some lemon. Avoid or limit any juicy smoothies, and eat the fruits if you feel like and you need your sweetener. No beverage that has cinnamon, caramel, or pumpkin flavor. That's how they trick you. That's part of the umami taste, the MSG taste that I was telling you about. All right? And again, they will have FEPs. Here's how you know. Zero vitamin or squeeze. You look in the back, you're going to see the preservatives and the sweeteners. Okay? No. Try this. Has any of you tried this? Green tea? Yeah. All right, so green tea is amazing. Actually, it lowers your insulin. You can have one. It's probably the best Mother Nature food as medicine we have for diabetes and losing weight. All right, I don't even know if there's anything else stronger than this. Okay, not only that, but it also stops your food cravings. Now the problem is that some people have a problem with their stomach. It's too strong. So I learned this trick. Put a bag of green tea and a bag of mint. Combined together, very easy to tolerate. But the key is, Don't let it stay after you boil water more than a minute or 2 minutes. That's when it gets, whatever the tannins and the acid stuff is going to get out of it. So no more than 2 minutes after you boil, and you add it in the boiled water. And try that. And I promise you, it helps a lot with the food cravings. All right, cereal, breakfast. Cereal is not, I mean, it could be considered breakfast. If you think that your breakfast should start with a large dessert, then that's breakfast. But it's nothing but a large dessert at any time of the day. It's not breakfast. It's the way I know it. All right? And here's the numbers, 60 teaspoons of sugar. That's just a little skim milk and a little cereal bowl. It's not the one. Trust me, I promise you, I just picked, not the high sugar kind of cereal. And instead, you can try scrambled or boiled eggs with vegetables, or plain old fat Greek yogurt. You add your nuts and sliced fruits. And some people like plain oatmeal with berries. Not my favorite. I don't think there's any nutrients in that. It's healthier than cereals. There is no healthy, there's no protein that matters. It's just carbs in the oatmeal and omega-6s. There's nothing nutritional there. But people want their carbs in a way that's more socially acceptable in their mind, at least. And if I were to choose between cereals and real plain oatmeal, and you add some berries, way better. But if I were to choose between plain oatmeal with berries, you still have 6 teaspoons of sugar. And 3 hard-boiled eggs with some salt and pepper, way healthier than boiled eggs. Look, or you can add this. You can have, look at this, complete meal. 3 eggs, over easy, your avocado, tomatoes, spinach, easy to make. And you can add any cheese that's one of these, whether it's ricotta, goat, feta, sheep, mozzarella. Remember, I bias towards goat and sheep. Why? It's less likely they fed them the wrong way, although it can still happen. No matter what, please do not ever use American cheese. All right? That's not cheese. All right? Cheddar, if it's real, yes. Yeah. Go ahead. You had a question.
Can you use blocks of cheese like Parmesan and grate it yourself?
Can I use lots of cheese?
Parmesan cheese and grate it yourself in a block.
Yeah, I mean, but again, depends how much you use. If you use, 1 or 2 teaspoons is not a problem. If you want to cover the whole plate, we got a problem. All right, that's it. And again, these are, well, for breakfast. Why? What you see here, you see cheese that doesn't have omega-6s because it has saturated fat from the, and you have your tomatoes, your greens. You can use, if you absolutely need some quinoa, that's good for salads instead as your favorite carb, not eggs and avocados, and you can combine. All this doesn't have to take more than 15. Again, I spent last time in November on part 3 a lot with that. But here's a couple of tricks. One is if you were to eat a salad and some meat, start your dinner or your lunch with a salad. Very important. Why? The fiber, first of all, gets to hit the road first, and it covers your gut. So then what you eat after that is going to, what's bad, like the sugar, is going to go down, all the way down to the large bowel, so it won't get absorbed into your system. All right, so that's very important. Don't mix it up. First the salad, then the rest of the entree. And we have evidence for that. Big difference, okay? All right, and then you can add extra fiber, lentil soup, you can have salad here. And you can add your fish or salmon. Every day you want to have some kind of omega-3 source, some fish, if it's possible, if not at least 3 times a week. And again, squeeze the lemon on any meat, keeps it fresh, keeps its antioxidant, it keeps it protected from the environment. Because once you get this fish out, just expose it to air. Exposure to air is going to start oxidizing it, and that keeps it fresh. You can use otherwise, preserved, pink. Wild Alaskan pink salmon, we use this, and it's easy to make. Sardines, just get rid of the oil, the olive oil, whatever it is, and then you put it on top. These are some of, actually, there are dishes from some of my patients who are here right now. What about rice, pasta, rice starches? Replace with cauliflower, quinoa, vegetables. Okay, so plan your meals for the week and cook in large batches. Some like this, a vegetable stew. Oh, you can have a beef stew. It doesn't have to be vegetable. But it's easy. You make like 2 gallons of it. You can buy whatever Instapot you have, the whole stars, and then you have the whole week. You don't have to go, and you just go there. And remember, when it's just like with our children, they get 25% of their sugars in the first hour after you pick them up from school. When do we get our most ultra-processed food other than lunch? It's in the first hour we came from work. So if you have the food already there, you just warm it up and you eat this. Then you don't have to worry about the other stuff. Oh, I got to get my granola bar, I got to get something. I can't wait, all right? Not good. And that's why I recommend this. Is why is steam under high pressure. The steam makes it healthy, the under high pressure makes it fast. So you get best of both worlds, all right? Just keep the vegetable oil. You can put some butter. You can make your own, again, for salad dressing, whether it's lemon-based or vinegar-based, balsamic, I don't care, whatever you like, combine with some extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, and it's great. You know, there's this recipe, olive oil, lemon, garlic, and mustard, unbelievable. Make it yourself, all right? All right, you go out, and you're gonna go to Mexican. What are you gonna eat? You can eat the veggies and the meat, the chicken. Could be beef too. Just skip the chips and the tortillas, and you can put the salsa. Now, there will be no fun initially, but then you get used to it, and you'll be surprised. It was just habit. It tastes just great. And trust me, I eat that, I do that, and the same with that. If you go out to any restaurant, eat whatever is the steak, ideally, or something that you know they will not use vegetable oils on it. And get that meat version, and then big salad bowls. Start with the salad, then you can eat the meat. And you can eat even the burger like that, you know. And this is one of my patients, his wife cooks. I think this top on the left is mine, and the others are theirs. It's much better. This is on top. This is mine, this is mine, this is theirs, because you can see as a woman who put some sweat into it, it looks wonderful. All right? So, high fiber meat, low sugar. What about these guys? They need to disappear from our diet. And that's how we get sick. There is nothing healthy there. It's not only tasty, it's poisonous. It blocks, it causes us everything I just said. And so what you need to do, you replace this with, you can go to McDonald's. You know, you got trapped one day. I haven't eaten for 24 hours. I gotta eat. I'm with family, fine. So what you do, you order a big salad, you order 2 burgers, not 1. I want you to order 2, with the cheese, tomato, big salad, cut the everything else. No bun, no French fries, no sodas, and no ketchup. And you just eat like this, and I promise you'll be full, you'll love it. And it's 10 times, you'll remove actually probably about a good 80% of the disease from that, and still tastes just great. Okay? All right. 4 examples, and we're done. So here's the first example of how we did it. I have 4 patients who volunteered to be my experiments. Okay? They didn't volunteer. They were volunteered because they were sick. But bottom line is, this is a patient who's 74 years old, man, had prior open heart surgery. Everything that relates to the heart, he's had it. Type 2 diabetes, wasn't able to get out of bed or move out of the house for quite a while, was in the hospital, already has chronic kidney disease, what we call stage 3. In August 22, was 303 pounds, with what we call a BMI of 42. A BMI of 25 is normal. It's like for each point of BMI, 6 pounds of weight. And then it was, I put him on some medicines and I told you that Jardiance how it works. He also had horrible pulmonary hypertension. That means not only the blood pressure was high on the left side, but the right side, just for the lung suffering from fluid buildup. And sleep apnea, diabetes was poorly controlled. Eventually it was a whole long-term conversation. There were multiple serial conversations after I put him initially in the hospital. We got about 30, 40 pounds of fluid off. We talk about rabbit food, and the taste for that was questionable. It took a while, but anyway, eventually we weren't able to fully go onto the Sorescu diet, let me put it this way. And it took a while, eventually gets admitted again, had the stent in the, didn't have a heart attack, but was really close to it, but he had progression of the heart disease in the arteries. That was in December 2022. And then eventually say, you know what, that's it, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. He started to accept the rabbit food. His wife is cooking, really got into the program, did everything he's been asked for. And then since then has not been in the hospital. His original weight was 303 pounds. It was in December was 233 pounds. I can tell you his cholesterol profile, diabetes is almost normalized now. Now we are suffering from long-term kidney damage from diabetes, but it's even the kidney function is actually normal as of now, except leaking some protein. His BMI moved from 42 to 31. At that time I said, look, we can try to get closer to 27. We can try some Ozempic on you. And of course, it's hard to find it, but we started. And how much did we lose since then? This is the kind of food that he's working on. How much did we lose? We lost another 20 pounds. We are stabilized now at 214 because it's hard to find that Mounjaro or the Ozempic. And now the BMI is 28. Has not been hospitalized. He states he feels better than he felt in 50 years. But again, we achieved 90% of this without Ozempic, and I'm not sure Ozempic is going to do much more, but we'll try to see if that does an extra. But was able to normalize all this just by eating healthy. And it's meats, vegetables, we just cut the processed food, all right, and I talk about it. And it's sustainable, and he says there's nothing wrong. He loves the food now. All right, this is a 47 years old young lady I've known for at least 20 years in our clinic. Since age 18, she has type 2 diabetes. Actually, I was told he has type 1 on insulin. Very weak hearts. In a year, basically in December last year, she pretty much we deemed her that she's end stage, and we couldn't offer her a heart transplant. And she was 267 pounds. Her kidneys were only working 25%. Admitted every 2 weeks in the hospital. We tried to help her lose weight. She didn't tolerate Ozempic. Remember, the longer you have diabetes, the less likely you're going to tolerate it. In other words, you tolerate better Ozempic if you are the pre-diabetes stage, before you are full-blown diabetes. She didn't tolerate anything. Hemoglobin was 12. And then I said, well, what do you have to lose? Let's try it. In 3 months, in about 3 days, she was off insulin, which she was on for 20 years. She lost by August 65 pounds. Currently, she's at minus 80 pounds. She has never been in the hospital now. It was every 2 weeks. It's now she had a mini stroke. That was a short, brief visit. And now her ejection fraction from 10 has improved to only 25. She can walk 10,000 steps. She feels better than she felt in a long, long time. Her weight is 190. And this is without Ozempic, because I even tried again and challenged her a few months ago, and she still doesn't tolerate it. This is all just eating, and just like how I eat, all right? This is another young lady who her weight was 280. She failed already a gastric sleeve, lost 50 pounds, and then came back up right away. Eventually, in August last year, had her unwide gastric bypass, and she's lost now now the weight is 208, so she's lost 72 pounds, but with bariatric surgery. And this is what they do to your stomach. You see what happens? They connect the esophagus straight to your duodenum, and then it's like, they have just a little part connected. This is pretty serious surgery, but it really works wonders to lose weight. So now she's a BMI of 38. We're still far from where it should be. But what's fascinating, so I asked her, what made the difference for you? How come? Because you tried before, she had a gastric sleeve bacille. Why did she weight went up? And she said, it was really just eating. It made her, whether she liked it or not, that she has to eat healthy. And now she's like, I eat just fine. She eats exactly the same. She knew my Sorescu heart failure lectures and everything. And she exercises an hour, 5-6 times a day, feels better than she felt in 10 years. But she just couldn't do it before. And I asked her, so what do you think did it? I said, there's nothing to do. Just me having the surgery made me so I cannot eat the wrong food, no matter what I do, because I'm not going to tolerate it. All right? That's what did it. And she still has to be very careful. She won't tolerate. Make her intolerant to ultra-processed food. All right? And this is a patient with 76 on dialysis. High blood pressure, diabetes. 76, you'll think, why would I want to lose weight? And I told her, well, because she was complaining why she feels terrible and no energy. And can't get out the, and then I said, look, let's try this. All right. So she tried. I saw her back in April from August. I thought something happened to her. She's like, Doc, I lost 60 pounds. I feel great. I said, what did you do? And she's on dialysis. So I'm going to tell you what she said.
What did you do? My rice, my bread, smaller portions. And, when you're on dialysis, you already can't eat nothing. So, what was it?
But what other foods could you eat then?
I ate vegetables,
Okay.
all kinds of vegetables, squash, zucchini.
Then you have, like cottage cheese and.
That's my night snack, cottage cheese and fruit. What else?
You don't eat much meat, fish.
Fish, no, I didn't have much meat. Fish, chicken,
Grilled chicken, no fried food.
definitely no fried food. Yeah, and that's the stuff we like. And I like shrimp. But yeah, just simple stuff.
Simple stuff. And if you ask all those patients who have lost weight, this amount with no other effort, they will tell you they eat exactly the same. It's not that hard, really. All you do is eliminate poisons and minimal cooking. Yeah. All right. And she's. So this for further reading. I can tell you, if you really want to clarify all this, the really world expert is Dr. Lustig. If you Google this, the Ultimate Health Guide to Glucose or Insulin Resistance on YouTube, his most recent, and you put Dr. Lustig, it's phenomenal. If you want to read books, you're more of a bookworm than I am. Metabolical, I highly recommend by him. A lot of these ideas I put here is really inspired from him. He's the real scientist. Then Dr. Peter Attia, it is Outlive the Science of Art and Longevity, fabulous book. Dr. Mark Hyman at Cleveland Clinic, as I said, is the chief of functional nutrition. You can pick the newer book, Young Forever, or any other book. He's got over 21. It doesn't matter. They're fabulous. He also had food books. Dr. Georgia Ede is basically a nutritional psychiatrist, very few of them, who works a lot on how to fix our brain issues with food. And she's a Harvard-trained psychiatrist. I highly recommend this book. And for geeks like me who want to know more about mitochondria, is this, all right, where I got all these ideas. And thank you. I'm done, finally. I'd like to